you gonna grow?
Hi, I'm Dave Owens, your garden guy. Hey guys, I just thought I'd show you a little bit of our garden up here. We're about 10 miles north of Payson, Arizona. And you can see, well, we're working on a few weeds. I had some leftover material from a little roofing project I did on the shed over there. And you can see how well that roofing material is actually killing those weeds out. It's a real good way to kill them out without having to use any type of dangerous type of weed killers. Some other things going on in the garden, well, we've got a lot of tomatoes coming in. It's been a fairly cool summer, so the tomatoes haven't done great, but they've done somewhat well. Got a little basil in here as a companion plant to the tomatoes themselves. But tomatoes, well, regular fertilization is the ideal situation. Some other things we got going on in the garden is a few problems in the way of fungal problems. And this is because we've gotten a lot of rain. In fact, we got some of the most rain we've ever had in a long time up here. But you can take a look. Here's some powdery mildew problems. You're going to typically see this on a lot of your melon crops. Those are your pumpkins and your cantaloupes and your squashes. And you can see, well, right back here, take a look. There's one of our pumpkins growing right now. Getting ready for Halloween. If you haven't already planted them, get them in the ground. Try to get them in with transplants right now. But these flowers right down here also are very edible and really delicious when fried up. But let's get back to the powdery mildew. In fact, when you got powdery mildew, invariably you're getting the leaves real wet. So what we do is we spray it with a little baking soda and hydrogen peroxide. Something along those lines will go a long ways. Or just regular buttermilk, or for that matter, just regular milk. It does a great job on fighting it. How's it fighting it? Well, it's got a lot of antifungal type qualities to it, along with cornmeal, and you can just spray this all on. It's all mentioned in my book, Extreme Gardening, and it will clear this up. Not really a real big problem, but you can also wash it off with just a little bit of water. Some other things you're going to be starting to plant down there in southern Arizona are a lot of your kales and mustard greens and things along those lines. You can see the kale right here. In fact, I want to show off the kale. We just harvest the kale, just harvest the leaves. You can see the leaves right here. And these leaves have a tendency to come back. And these younger leaves are what we utilize in a lot of our salads and other things in throughout the garden. And, of course, there's some beans growing back here, but I want to show off some of these cabbages. Here's one of our larger cabbage right there. And some of the smaller ones. We just lop them off. We don't take the whole plant out. We lop it off, and you can see we start getting these smaller little cabbages right here. Real easy for self-generation and keep that perpetual gardening going. And then, of course, there's lots of flowers in throughout the garden. You see some nasturtiums. These are all things that are going to need to be planted along with your regular garden come here in about a month or so during the fall time. And, of course, regular watering and regular fertilization. The one thing we use, and it's seen better days, is a little bit of liquid seaweed or extreme juice. You can see right here, this is sprayed on a lot of this foliage, and it also helps out with those powdery mildew problems and the other diseases we see throughout the garden. So keep in mind, you're going to be getting ready for that fall time garden. Go ahead and start thinking about those cabbages, those kales, and of course, watch out for that powdery mildew. If you have it, well, use a little bit of cornmeal tea or a little bit of milk, or there's a lot of other suggestions right in my book, Extreme Gardening.